Hi everyone, does everyone watch a program or have you heard of a program called What Would You Do? So it's an American program, but it's also on YouTube now in different episodes. So the whole concept of the program is that you put a child, or sometimes it's a couple or individuals, in situations to see how people will react. So some of the situations might be someone fat shaming someone, a waiter or a waitress being harassed. It might be a child being told off or scolded harshly. It could be anything. But anyway, I was just thinking about this because also there's lots of experiments online where people are putting children in situations and seeing if anyone will intervene, especially the one where someone's trying to abduct a child or something like that. So I just wanted to check in with you guys. What would you do if you were in that sorts of situation? Because my feeling about the whole thing is that it's not depending on the risk element of what's going on. It depends on how people's minds work. So in some situations, if your moral values, or if you think as a person, I've got to step in because the idea of a woman being hit means I'm not going to think it's none of my business, I'm going to get involved. Or if it's a child and the child looks lost, other people, if they're quite risk averse, but also if they're like thinking about the dangers to themselves, would say, this is none of my business. Or they'd say, do you know what, I need to call the police, but I'm not going to get involved because what if someone thinks I'm doing something to the child, or what if someone attacks me? So it all depends on so I've been in a few situations like this where I've intervened. I've actually intervened twice when it comes to domestic violence. So I've heard a woman in my building, once in my building, I heard a woman that was actually, you could just hear it above me, that there was just a fight going on. And straight away I got out of my room and I shouted, are you okay? I shouted up the stairs. And she said, yes, I'm okay. And luckily, because she knew, and I said her name as well, that I was, aware of what was going on, he then left shortly after. And that might have been because he knew, she's not alone. Another situation, I actually saw a woman being beaten up, and this was a neighbour as well, outside. And I just opened the door and I just shouted to her, are you okay? And then he could see that obviously there was that. Then there was another situation where I saw, this was years ago when I was on public transport, and a school children were bullying another child, and they were just relentless with it, verbally, just calling her name. She was crying. The bus was full of people. No one said anything. And I don't know, just something within me, probably because I've been bullied at school as well, but also it was the fact that she just seemed so helpless, powerless, this group of girls bullying her. So I just said to the girl, come and sit by me. And I just said to them, can't you leave her alone? I said, you can see that she's crying, just leave it. They didn't listen, they carried on. And then the bus driver, thankfully, could hear a commotion, came upstairs and threw the girls off the bus. I remember this because I was thinking, good. And then everyone was checking on the girl, and I'm thinking, none of you said anything earlier. And I do think it's that thing of fear. These days, maybe I probably wouldn't have done that. That was probably in fact, that was over 20 years ago, because I've been driving for 22 years or something like that. I've been driving for about 22 years. So back now, if you approach like a group of kids who are bullying another child, they've probably got a knife, they've probably got a gun. You don't know what you're getting into. They'll probably turn on you. I don't know if I still wouldn't do anything. I think it's the other thing as well. Another situation, I saw a little boy near my area. He was just standing on his own. He looked about 7 years old. He looked quite young. And I thought, where's his parents? So I went over to him and said, are you okay? And he said, I'm just waiting for the ice cream van to come back round. And I said, oh, okay, where are your mum and dad? And he was like, oh, yeah, and he lived there. But it was just the fact that I felt I needed to check on him. There's been a number of other situations, especially when I was a social worker, where I did get involved. Now with children, because I have worked as a social worker, I'll make sure, I would never bring a child into my house, because obviously you can be at risk then of people thinking something's happened. I would never just say to a child, come with me, or anything like that. So I know how I would deal with that. But what would you do if you was in a situation where a stranger was at risk? They were either shouting help, or you saw a little child who looked lost, or you saw a couple that were fighting and someone was shouting help me or whatever. Would you intervene or would you not? And if not, say the reasons why. If you would, say the reasons why as well. I'd love to hear what you think.